The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire. The human postponer. They were the master of one phrase. I'll circle back on that. But 3 months later, you were the one doing all their work and wondering how big that circle is. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can take the hiring load off your plate by automating the hiring busy work from the initial job post to scheduling interviews. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
I wrote a little song to remind you, Choice Hotels get you more of the experiences you value. The Cambria Hotel's got it all. A rooftop bar, have a ball. Bring a date, your squad, or even your mom. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
A week has come and gone and no soccer has happened. What a wasted week it's been. In all seriousness, Orange County, of course, played last Saturday. See, this is it. Without a match every other day, it seems like. I don't know how to really track the passage of time, but worry not. The Orange and Black Soccer Cast arrives just as it always does, and well, we've got a match to look forward to this weekend, so we'll spend plenty of time talking about it. And since we're at the top of the show, there's probably still time for you to get in your car and drive to Monterey. I'll see you there. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. It's a pleasure to be here. I am obviously not Ray Samora, so I don't have the usual monologue that he has memorized after about 8 years, but all the same, it is a pleasure to be here, and I will guide you through this journey. I think that's what he says. Enough about me. Let's bring on my co-hosts. First up, all the way from Oklahoma, where the winds come sweeping across the plain. I'm out of references. Brad, hello. Welcome to the show. And what did you get up to this past weekend?
For me, I went on a little mini adventure and I found $70 in an outhouse. More on that later.
I really, all right. Love that. I'm happy about Matt, welcome to the show.
I want to make a joke so bad right now.
Honestly, I have to assume it was intentional, because if we're just not caring about the things that are coming out of our mouth at this point, it is basically Tobias Funke constantly. Matt, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. What did you get up to, my friend?
I did. Appreciate Orange County taking the weekend off for the World Cup final. So it was nice of them to do that. So we can catch two great games and not have to worry about any conflicts like we did the week before. So very appreciated. And doing great. Sad the World Cup's over, but glad it happened,
Yes. Some soccer did actually happen. And yeah, I appreciate it. That's maybe the one time the USL has actually amazing. Ray's already in the comments telling us about what part of the intro I butchered.
I invited you right out of here.
I will shout out the USL for once for actually not screwing us with the schedule for once. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate that. And it was really wonderful. Unfortunately, I got to miss both of these games watching live because I was stuck working. But what a finish. I want to say that perhaps truly the best, or at least most exciting match of this entire tournament was probably the penultimate one, the third place match, or what we're calling the bronze final or something is what FIFA would like.
Bronze medal game, yes.
Yeah, whatever that. It's not a final.
Show some respect.
Whatever. Anyway, yeah, okay. Yeah, show some respect. But 10 goals. So let's just get right into it. Matt, as the resident, I don't know. I was going to say Englishman, but I don't even know why. I think it's just the Chelsea
a little bit
love for you. What did you enjoy about that match? And of the 10, which was the best goal?
Oh, great question. I feel like I'm going to say something that's dumb because I'm not thinking of one. I don't know. I have to think back through all 10. Just the fact that we got 10. I mean, there's a lot to talk about with that game. I could go on for an hour about that game. It's awesome. It makes me feel like this was like soccer in the 60s or the 70s, which just who cares about defense? Let's just do attack versus defense training drills. Basically, it was just 3-on-2s, 4-on-3s, back and forth. Like no one cared. There's definitely a discussion to be had on whether the Golden Boot should count on that game. I've definitely seen some discussions on that. I mean, technically it does. Should it though? I don't know. Both of those teams were technically knocked out of the tournament.
I'll take this. I'll take this for you, Matt. Both teams felt like it was going into like an all-star, or they didn't want to play as what it was rumored, but it was anything but an all-star game. Thinking of like NBA terms, sure, it was super high scoring, but you could tell in that game, France went to the halftime locker room down 4 goals, and Mbappe said, to the team, "I'm taking this personally." Went out, had his Michael Jordan second half, where he rightfully scored 2 goals, and if this was Messi's last World Cup, Mbappe is ahead of him in World Cup goals all time, which I think is the craziest thing ever. But
considering he has 2 more, probably.
I mean, this Mbappe guy might actually be kind of good. We'll put it that
He's
way. Half decent. Yeah. Do you think, and I actually think the answer to this question might be yes. Do you think he said that in English, Brad? And I'm guessing he did, because Michael Elise really cannot speak French at all. It is horrifying to watch. It is essentially the level at which I could speak French.
I said in Spanish.
In his, honestly, sometimes it feels like the level that I can speak English, to be honest. But in his defense, he's really good at kicking a ball. So I probably wouldn't care about what language I was speaking either.
Moving on real quick, I know we have actual Orange County soccer to go over, but in the final game, kudos to Spain for playing literally the most sound defensive game or tournament I think I've ever seen at the World Cup. What was the stat? It was they allowed one team to score on them all World Cup, and I think that team was Cote d'Ivoire, or not Cote d'Ivoire. Or no, the opposite. They were
Cape
held
Verde,
to a clean sheet once by Cape Verde.
Yeah.
Which is an
absolute... But they conceded 1 goal in the whole tournament, which is wild.
So anything is possible. I will say that I'm glad at least the 3rd place match, or whatever FIFA wants us to call it, was that. That was a spectacle. That was wonderful. That's what the final should have been. And then Argentina decided to go be football terrorists for the final and do absolutely nothing, which was probably predictable to anybody that's watched how Spain has played this tournament. Because if you saw how the semifinals went, you would just go, Spain's going to pass the ball around the entire time. Argentina's going to try and hack them down. And this one probably ends up 1-0. And if you'd bet on a red card, you probably didn't win that much money, because it always felt really, really obvious.
Argentina,
I said this.
Oh,
go ahead,
sorry.
Brad.
Argentina saved all their fight for the post-game antics.
Well, naturally, it's more fun to do things after the match. Just ask Enzo Fernandez. That was a joke about the Copa America. Anyway, I said this online. They should be thrown out of the next World Cup for not even attempting a shot through 90 minutes, and I stand by that. That wasn't a joke. They don't deserve to come back for that. That was disappointing as the reigning champions.
We keep this show family friendly. I can't speak my mind on that Argentina performance.
I'm trying my best.
I in the past I've kind of defended Argentina. I love teams that go in and go hard, but this tournament more so than ever. But they've always kind of had a little bit of them. It's just the cry bully mentality of we're gonna I appreciate a team that goes in hard, but then if you're gonna do that, then you're going to make it like a hockey game, then be like a hockey player and go in hard, take the licks. For them, it's going hard, and then as soon as it comes back to you, you are screaming and crying on the ground. And no one respects that. It's a joke. I was so frustrated by that, and I don't think there's any conspiracy with the whole Messi thing, but I do think that they benefited from the refereeing in the whole tournament, where they tried to we're going to let things go. We want the game to be a little, harder, and we want to let things go a little bit with the fouls. But there was the England game in the final with Argentina, like, it was a joke. Like, they should have had 2 yellows in the first 10 minutes of both those games. And the fact that they didn't was just like, what are you doing? You're letting them get away with what they are doing, which is just trying to slow the game down and break up play, like, in a way that shouldn't be allowed. To me, it's like, how do refs, like, it's not a conspiracy. To me, it's how do you fall for that, refs? Like, it's just bad refereeing. It's nothing to do with conspiracy or whatever. And it just drives me bananas.
Don't worry. Someone wrote an op-ed about how, as a World Cup ref, there's definitely no favoritism. Sure, that's legit. Anyway, on to soccer things that truly matter. Orange County plays Monterey this weekend. It is a wonderful place. If you're coming, bring a jacket. If you are going next year or later this year at some point, bring a jacket. It's always obnoxiously cold for some reason. And I am weak, so I will wear 2 jackets.
In the middle of July.
In the middle of July, yes. Because coastal California. Gotta love the Central Coast. Anyway, I haven't watched a lot of Monterey. I've probably watched 90 more minutes of Monterey than you two this year. So we actually have someone who knows what they're talking about joining us now. Noah from the MBFC Discussion show. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Not really I don't do shows, but I do content on social media. I mean, I cover my team, of course, right? But yeah, thanks for having me on, and it's been a good summer break as well. Back from Chicago. I'm currently attending college in Chicago. And thanks as well to Spain for saving football.
I really do love it. That's really what it felt like. Just happiest for Javier Bardem, I guess.
Yeah.
Noah, it's been we're 4 months into the season now, or 4.5 months into the season. Just give us a rundown on Monterey Bay in 2026, if you don't mind.
Yeah. It's definitely been a weird season so far. We started out just absolutely awful, horrendous at the start of the season. I think it was something like 10 matches overall, if you include USL Cup play, where MBFC didn't, fully win a match. At least, I believe we won against the Oakland Roots in penalties in, I think it was the first round of group play in the USL Cup match, and that was like our first win of the season, quote unquote. But yeah, and then we sacked Stewart, which feels like it was the right decision overall. Because when you look at the club as a whole, we've never made the playoffs in our previous 4 seasons. And I mean, even though like we've drawn at least consistent crowds of 3,000 or whatever, I was kind of getting concerned for the future prosperity or the stability of the club. Because I mean, as we know, there are very few USL Championship teams that operate under profitability per se, and it can be a tough thing to take on as an owner. But I think for the overall health of the club, it was the right decision, because we need to try and get to playoffs. Like we cannot sit around, and we basically couldn't have sat on our hands. And if we dug ourselves too big of a hole early on, which it seemed like we were, then it would kind of all go to crap the season. And thankfully, again, the higher ups acted quickly, and I said Stewart out after the 5th game, and then he was sacked after that. Funny enough, first win versus Oakland in the USL Cup. And then we brought in Alex Covello, and it took some time. And funny enough, he's another former San Jose Earthquakes guy. It's like, we're San Jose Earthquakes, staff merchants, training staff merchants. And he's come in and done a wonderful job so far. He really has. Granted, you look at the competition, we play the likes of Birmingham Legion, Sporting Jacksonville, Loudoun United, who, all 3 of those teams are pretty poor. And then granted, we did beat El Paso Locomotive 1-0, but that was when they were in their downtrend as well. and we've gotten ourselves, back into, I guess, the race, you could say. Although, especially after this past weekend's result, it feels like the hole we dug for us, even though we've, slowly dug ourselves sort of out of it, we're really not out of the hole still. Being on 15 points, and now Phoenix, I believe, on 18, and um, I think we're 3 points behind the 11th team in the West. As yeah, there you see there, Lexington Tennessee in 11th and on 18 points. So we still have a lot of work to do, and I'd say there are positive vibes, during that good stretch of form for MBFC, but I kept, having to try and remind people like, hey, we're as a club, we still haven't made the playoffs. Um, and relatively speaking, we still have a lot to work. We still have a lot to work for or work towards, because this season is not over by any means, and especially when you look at our run in for the second half of the season, starting with Phoenix, it only gets tougher from there. So overall, the season has been pretty shambolic for the most part, but we have relatively picked it up as of late, thankfully.
Gotcha. Noah, earlier today, I believe your club described this as the most important match of the year,
Did they?
or of the season.
I didn't see. I mean, I saw it's a theme night. It's Christmas in July, apparently, is the theme night for the match. So I mean, if they want to bill that as the most important match of the season, given the theme night, then yeah. But in the grand scheme,
at least the 25th.
Yeah.
For Orange County, for things to have gone well, and I do hope we get to hear the inverse, or explain the inverse. 15 minutes into this match, how are things going to be going well for Orange County? What is going wrong for Monterey? What does that look like?
Yeah, I'd say we could concede an early goal. As of late, in the past like two or so matches, this includes USL Cup. Granted, I guess most of the goals that have been scored, the 6 goals that have been scored the last 2 matches, have been late on, but slowly but surely, teams are starting to kind of figure us out a little bit, starting to adjust more to what Cavello wants to do, and ultimately, we've been getting exposed later in matches, and I think it's a trend that is going to continue to the point where you're going to see MBFC get exposed earlier in the match. But relatively speaking, in terms of Cavello's playing style, he wants to play possessive and he wants to press up high. So I think if Orange County are able to break that press of MBFC and kind of play how MBFC want to play, which is again with the ball and possessive, then certainly we could see an early goal in the first 15 minutes.
Awesome. I believe, Brad, you had a question here, yeah?
At a couple. First, coming from someone with a Reno 1868 background, I can definitely appreciate the San Jose junior squad allegations. We had Ian Russell back in the day, and just were a feeder team at times for San Jose. But my question is, for Orange County, we kind of know ourselves as a little bit of a sit back, pass the ball around, look to counter on opportune moments, but really building out through our midfield. Knowing that in mind, how do you think Monterey Bay's defense and really structure will allow them to play into that?
Yeah, well, as I said, Cavello likes his team to press, and try and win the ball back off of other teams, or force a long ball, and then we can scoop it up in the midfield or sweep it up at the back and regain possession there, and then try and build from the back too. So overall, I think the teams match up pretty well and ultimately very interestingly. Given the fact, as you mentioned, they'll kind of build slowly from the back through the midfield. I think we'll probably get on to it in a bit here as well. But of course, Riley Bidois has been, the main man for us, our talisman per se. It kind of came out of, I wouldn't say nowhere, because he did do well in previous seasons at Loudoun United, in the USL Championship, but he came in and didn't start a match under Jordan Stewart, and then started under Alex Covello, and has done very well, but he's been injured as of late. So the line being led per se hasn't been being led as of late for the past, like, I don't know, 4 matches. And that's also a big part of our press too. We're also missing Elijah Paul last match too. So those are 2 big parts of our press that were not available. But yeah, that pressure from MBSC is really going to be a key, I think, in trying to prevent at least Orange County from playing out of the back, at least in the first half, because as we know, like, you could have a really good press for 45 minutes, but then it slowly drops off. It's not possible to sustain that press through the entire match.
All right, and I got one more for you. You guys are currently sitting 16 games into the season, so 1 game over the half in the regular season for the USL Championship. Ignoring the USL Cup, give yourselves a letter grade for how the season's going. You said it's been a little bit of back and forth. There was a string of good success, but also, you guys are sitting in last in the West. So just a little bit of a grade analysis for the team.
Yeah. I really can't give it anything more than a D plus. At the end of the day, we are sitting bottom of the West. The only reason I'm giving it a D plus, and kind of like giving a little credit, is again for what Covello has done. Like, he has, relatively speaking, gotten us into a position where you're like, well, maybe there's a chance, but at the same time, we started off so poorly, and sure, like, there's been stuff to cheer about and be happy about in the past 8 or 9 matches, let's say. For the first 8 matches of the season, just yeah, it was not fun. Yeah, just win 14 games in a row like the Boston Red Sox. You know, crazy. You can win 14 games in a row in sports. But
All right. Thank you so much for answering my questions. I'm going to go ahead and pass things off to Matt, who has a couple.
Yeah, you've talked a little bit about the coaching and mentioned a couple players there in that last answer. Who's some players that you think would be difference makers that could potentially either unlock our defense or be a difference maker in the game coming up Saturday?
yeah, so there's one in particular that we just recently signed. Funny enough, again, with connections to Alex Covello, from previous from a previous background earlier in his playing career, and that's Fidel Barajas. I was kind of shocked that we were able to get him. Granted, it's on a loan, and something as well that I don't know if you've noticed is we have a lot of loan players. Omar Glasgow has played a pivotal role for us. Another player to watch for sure, who's been playing kind of a left back role, jumps up into the attack a lot, very quick. Yeah, exactly, the Oliver Weiss effect, as Dylan put in the chat. He's been really good, but he's a lone player. But with Fidel Barajas Jr., of course, he had a great season with Charleston. Signed with Charleston got transferred to Charleston from Sacramento Republic for, I believe like $850,000, a USL Championship record fee for a teenager. And then, of course, got sold to Real Salt Lake for like $400,000 or $500,000 or something like that, and then got loaned out immediately to Club America, and then got sent back, got loaned out to Atletico San Luis. And it just really hasn't panned out for him since moving on from the USL Championship. But he's a quality player. I mean, if you remember seeing any highlights of him with Charleston Battery, he could finish bottom corner. He really cut inside the left foot, deliver ball to the box. And I think he is someone that, without Riley Bidois in his injury, that has popped up, MBSC have lacked some creativity at times and that finishing touch in the final third. And certainly I think Vito Barajas can provide that. Um, Another player to watch for, he loves a goal against Orange County, of course, as we know from last season, and that is Elijah Paul. I don't know if he's going to be playing the match because he did not play last match either, and actually didn't play the previous match in the USL Cup against Las Vegas, although it was a meaningless match because both us and Las Vegas were eliminated. Of course, scored 2 goals and got an assist in Orange County last season. Probably one of the best performances I've ever seen from an MBFC player ever. Right up there with Alex Dixon and his hat trick on opening day in, I think it was 2023 against Hartford Athletic. But he is kind of a brute force type of forward, if you would say. Really uses his body and likes to get into players' grills. He played 9 against Phoenix. I just wiped that match from my memory. I can't lie. Literally, I don't want to talk about that match, but still, he's obviously the guy that I think you guys probably would fear the most given his history. Of course, scored another 2 goals, I believe, against Orange County when it was the USL Cup, maybe if I'm not correct, last season. Yeah, those are, relatively speaking, I'd say my 3 players: Omar Glasgow, Fidel Barajas. Being as well, it'll also be Barajas's first match at home at Cardinale. So, yeah, those 3 players are going to be massive.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, so speaking of someone who's used to that Oliver effect, the only fear is always that they might be good for you until you get to September, and then their parent club mysteriously is like, you know what, we kind of want that guy back, and you're like, cool, thanks for helping us get to the playoffs, and then getting knocked down the first round because you don't have 2 of your good players.
Well, when Frank Yallop was here at MBSC as well, we loaned in Useni Buddha from the San Jose Earthquakes, and he scored a winner against Pittsburgh, and that match was kind of funny because we were completely dominated the entire match, but we won 1-0. And then he had a penalty that he took against FC Tulsa in stoppage time that was saved. And then a week later, he got recalled from the zone because San Jose had an injury crisis. So that is, relatively speaking, the only downside, I guess, of the loans is if a team has an injury crisis, like the likelihood of a team recalling that loan is pretty high. But yeah, I would say as well, in terms of a question I'd have for you guys, what are the 3 players as well, I'd say, that MBSC should look out for the most on Saturday?
I feel like we should all try and answer this question at the exact same time. And I think number 1 on recent form is going to be Usman Silla. And I'm closely watching the face.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I was closely watching the others' faces to see if they would agree with that.
That would have been mine.
Yeah, if there's someone that's going to borrow from Matt, unlock your defense, it's going to be Usman Silla. Very good on the ball, absolutely willing to ride a challenge and progress the ball forward, and he can finish a chance as well, be it all by himself or playing a quick one too. So,
based on what you're saying too, very press resistant. If you try to press him too hard, he will just dribble around your team. So we'll see how that goes.
It can be fun to watch. It can also be really terrifying and really frustrating to watch at times. But he's probably our current largest threat. Brad, I'll turn it over to you. Who else should Noah and Monterey look out for?
Yeah, I shook my head when you said Silla. Not that he's not the most informed player right now for Orange County, but because in the grand scheme of things, Chris Hagart is Mr. Orange County right now, and he's always been the player that we've played our game through. And the idea that we're going to move on and do something different, we got to highlight Mr. OC himself.
I do like that. Matt, I hate to leave it to you last year. It was maybe the 3rd player that Monterey should worry about.
Oh, you guys stole my first 2. So I'll
welcome.
go the other side then. I'll go Tom Brewitt. You talking about a big and strong striker. I think Tom should be able to lock him down. We'll see how that goes. I think our defense has been pretty on form. So it's going to be, you look at, we kind of have the opposite goals for and goals against, us being top and you guys being bottom. So that's a game where, never ever going to count another team out, but hoping we could get a clean sheet there. And with Tom leading the way there.
Yeah, he's definitely not the largest center back. I think he's 5'11", so slightly taller than average, but certainly the center backs go far from tall. It's actually surprisingly good in the air despite that, but does a very great job of organizing our defense. And largely Orange County's success thus far has been down to the fact that we don't tend to concede a lot of goals. And he's really the key to that kind of entire system. And it's really clear as to why he came in essentially with Danny Stone, why Danny Stone wanted him so much, and why he's the club captain. So, that's I was going to say front to back, but really like our midfield and defense. You maybe don't have to worry about, we have to worry about, you don't have to worry about who is in fact going to score goals, because that's kind of a question mark right now with Orange County's fitness issues.
Well, yeah, I was wondering, what would be some, a weakness that Orange County have currently. I mean, being top of the West, it's tough to pinpoint any weaknesses per se, but not every team is perfect, of course, and so I assume that's probably what you would have said is not a talisman per se. You don't have a rally boudoir, I guess.
Yeah. Do we want to? I'll count to 3 this time. Do we want to answer the same answer on 3? All right. 1, 2, 3. Injury crisis.
Yep.
Yeah. We have maybe a fit starting striker. We've got one. Ethan Zubak is probably as close to match fit as he's going to get at this point. But he's missed a large chunk of the season injured, and has actually yet to score this season. Yana Bazzini is maybe hurt, has a couple goals to his name. Liam McKinnon, who is a Golden Boot in USL League 1 2 years ago, has got a couple goals to his name. About a month ago, we had a center back on. He really plays everywhere, but we were joking that we should just put him up top because he was a joint top scorer for us at that point. So, if there's one glaring weakness to its Orange County, despite being top, we're thin, and we're thin at the goal scoring position right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we have a talismanic goal scorer. It's we spread it around the team, which is a strength in and of itself, but don't really have that guy that
and a weakness in and of itself.
Yeah, and no one's really going to take the game by the scruff of the neck if things get tight. It's usually just lately Scylla or Haygart or someone on the wings.
Yeah, last week I made a joke that we could field a starting 11 based on the injury list, and we pulled up the injury list that producer Andy has on the screen now, and it's 10 outfield players, and just missing the goalie to make 11.
This was a cup game, to be fair.
Yeah, so maybe some of those injuries aren't all injuries as much as guys that are just maybe being rested or precautionary, but all the same, yeah. There's this one should be interesting, despite maybe what looks on paper as a team at top of the West goes and probably beats down on team on bottom of the West. And I think this plays into the West as it always is. I mean, you guys are dead last in the division, but 4 points away from a playoff spot. So a quick little 2 or 3 match run and results go your way, you're right back into the thing. And likewise for us, if we go on a little bit of a skid, we can find ourselves in pretty much the same position by that time. So
we've been around where you guys are right now and won a cup. So
yeah. Well, I mean,
and then we're right back
in July.
Yeah, I will also say I pertain it for a long time and talking to some of our fellow fans, fellow MBFC fans. I'm like, there's going to be a time in which, Cavello is going to get, again, sort of found out and teams are going to adjust. The thing with MBFC in the past is it feels like we just then haven't adjusted or have had the players to adjust. Relatively speaking, the tactics as well that we're playing, it feels more fluid. It does feel more fluid. So I'm hoping that this time around, those ideas don't really run dry like they have in the past for MBFC. And I mean, I think what better chance as well than to showcase that evolution per se as a club. And um, I also think it's a change in mentality as well. You know, got it. I think to our point as well about Oliver Weiss and him coming in as a former OC guy and what he accomplished at OC. Um, no, I've talked a lot with Ollie this season when I've gotten the chance, at least because I've been in Chicago, obviously, and not have don't like have his number or anything like that. But after matches, I saw him in Las Vegas when I went there. I've seen him multiple times since I've been back here at the matches, and you know he just has a really good mentality. And literally, there has not been a conversation in which he has not mentioned winning, like the word winning. So, yeah, I think ultimately that's going to be something that will be key for us down the stretch here as well. And you know, keeping up the ideas, keep the ideas flowing in the attack. Because scoring goals is, especially in the USL Championship, has been a son of a gun for us in the past and towards the end of the season.
It's that fog, you know, that fog rolls that no one can see the goal.
Yeah, the fog
Yeah.
rolls. I will say as well, you know, you guys mentioned about the cold weather. Supposed to be like 68 on Saturdays, so it actually was
freezing.
Granted, I live more inland than from Marina / Seaside. Technically, Seaside is where the stadium is, but it's very close to Marina too. It was like 81 here in Prunedale today. It was warm, really warm. So not as warm as down there, but
it was 98 today for me. So you know, I feel you, man.
I mean, I'll take it over Chicago. You know, humidity, whatever, all day long.
On Oliver, really quick, I was going to ask this as one of my questions, but we were feared for him. I mean, we've had our issues with him in the past. You know, some of us a little bit here and there, but I love the man. I'll always, I'm not going to name names. I didn't name names, but I do love the man, and we were fearing for him when you guys were real down bad there in the first couple months. How has it changed all a little bit, or how's the vibe with him been? Any calls for his head?
No, I mean,
on your guys' side, or is it?
No, I mean, with it being so early into his tenure, you know, I think we all kind of, and especially when you look at, you know, with Jordan Stewart, he was a lame duck manager when Oliver Weiss came in. You know, he wasn't Oliver Weiss's guy in the end, and so ultimately, you know, the guys as well, like that were brought in, felt more like Jordan Stewart's guys is the kind of vibe I got early on in the season, and they weren't really what Oliver had in mind. And there are also some perplexing decisions as well. Like, for example, we were playing Joel Garcia Jr. in midfield at times, where it's just like he's not a midfielder; he's a right back by trade. Stuff like that, and so I think ultimately we're trusting the process with Ollie, and at the end of the day, I'm not going to name names, but I think Oliver Weiss is 10 times better than the president that we had previously. Again, not going to name names because it's a topic that we kind of want to bury here.
You just got to go back to
MBFC.
OC and OC circa 2016, where he was like kind of the GM and the coach. So just get him on the touchline. You know, he can just be the coach himself.
Yeah.
Might not be the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, but it will be very pragmatic, and it is almost guaranteed to work. Noah, thank you for joining us. Thanks for kind of giving us the rundown on how things have been in Monterey, because we saw a coaching change. And, you know, from the outside, you're still bottom of the table. So, you know, it's helpful to have a little bit more knowledge as to what exactly is going on. Please promote yourself, not your show. You know, your content online.
Wait, I'll also give a score prediction before I go as well.
Oh, yes, please.
I also say, well, I normally say, you know, I normally give 2 because, you know, you can never win in this prediction game, right? Really, because you never know. It's the USL Championship. especially since it'll be USL Championship after dark. Although I think the sun will set it probably like 20 minutes before the match ends. To be fair, but in terms of a score prediction, with my head, I will probably say that OC will win 2-1, just based on our recent results and our recent form. A kind of a bit of a downward trend after our upward trends, but with my heart, and I'll say this, like, this will be my main prediction because I won't ever not back MBFC, and we need to win matches at the end of the day to really get back in this, USL Championship playoff hunt. And again, we're 4 points behind the playoff spot, as you said. I'll say MBFC will win 1-0, just due to, as you mentioned, OC's lack of scoring at times. But in terms of socials, you can find me on Instagram. I really only have ever posted on Instagram as well. There you go. It is exactly that, the username. You could also just search up MBFC Discussion without the characters, and it would probably pop up. But yeah, if you want to, give me a follow. And at the moment, because of school and all that, I've only been posting full-time posts and match day posts. But it's always fun to make those posts because I also make all my graphics and all that stuff. So it's always been a great hobby of mine, and especially considering I want to go into a sports broadcasting. I think I made the right choice to make my first ever fan page for my soccer team, my local soccer team.
Fair enough. That's pretty much how I ended up here. And so when you make it, we'll take all the credit for being the launch pad that really skyrocketed your career.
There you go. And also,
go ahead.
One more thing. Yeah. In terms of sports broadcasting, if you do want to hear me on calls, I am doing this next year at least. I'll also be doing either play-by-play or color. Sometimes it depends on the sign-up sheet and when I get scheduled. But on Rated Pulse Sports and Entertainment, you search up that, just Rated Pulse Sports and Entertainment, it should come up with a website called RDSE, or I think ratedpulsesports.com, I think is actually the website name. And on game days for DePaul basketball or DePaul soccer, you'll be able to hear me on calls for those teams as well for my college.
Awesome. Noah, thank you. Thank you.
I
We will
appreciate
see you on Saturday night.
Indeed.
Awesome.
You'll also be able to spot me with the green hat and the flag on the back of mine.
You'll hear me coming from a long way off, I'm sure, and I'll be 30 froth waters deep by 7 o'clock. Noah Telford of the MBFC Discussion, not a show, just a discussion, just some internet content, everybody. So yeah, don't listen to me, listen to Noah. Noah, thanks for being here. We'll see you on Saturday. Matt, Brad, let's get to you for your score predictions really quick. Brad, you first, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna mimic Noah's head and say 2-1. But my heart prediction will be 5-0 Orange County because Ray may not be here, but his soul must go on.
Fair.
Must it?
You're right, but still, I said the word, so I gotta stick by it.
Fair enough. Matt, who's winning? Who's scoring on Saturday?
Who's scoring? 2-0. Scylla. It's hard to say because I think Bazzini maybe plays, but if he does, then Bazzini. If not, then I'll go Jameer Johnson.
Your odds might be really good with Nico Benalcazar. And we should probably give some credit to Liam McKinnon, who has actually been scoring goals, and I think is still our top scorer. So he's not setting the league alight, but he's when fit there and looks ever as capable of scoring as he did in League One. So well, we could just take a really quick look at the graphics since Andy made them, and he'll in fact inform me that Yana Bazzini is Orange County's top scorer. So I live in the past. What can I say? And then Bradley Bidois, with 4 goals for Monterey. So ultimately, what do I see here? Monterey is going to shoot a lot. Those probably aren't going to be necessarily on target. And they're kind of where they are That one makes sense statistically. They did not look very good when I saw them earlier this year. And I think that was coaching change, excuse me. So we'll see if Orange County can capitalize. Brad, I think you've got some thoughts as we head into the more league-wide conversation part of the show. So take it away, Mr. Oklahoma.
I was going to say that for random thoughts. You're going to put me on blast there. I know we did prep another segment that I was going to lead us into here. Earlier in the week, we asked ourselves to come up with what's going to scare you moving into the back half of the season. And I know you already kind of nailed it pretty well in the head when you asked us to all at the same time say the top of mind item. So I'm going to challenge the group not to say injuries.
Right. I'll take this one.
Yep.
Yeah, I apparently shouldn't be hosting the show because I forgot about this thing that we talked about doing and then also did last week. So here we are. What honestly scares me most is the goal scoring heading into the back half of the season. Ethan Zubak has yet to score this season. I don't think he's going to get 10 goals at this point in the year, but it is what kind of return can we get for him and what can he get for himself? Beyond that, Bazzini is inconsistent, I think, with the chances that he finds or that he's tasked with finishing. He's scored some absolute bangers, and he's also whiffed some sitters that I might be able to put away. Probably not, but maybe could put away. And then beyond that, again, it just always becomes a depth thing. But who is there to score the goals beyond that before we become a purely set piece team? But I won't spike Matt's blood pressure too much by suggesting that become the thing. Matt, before we hear from you, Joseph Figueroa in the chat saying 3-0 Orange County with the win. I love it. Some optimism, yes. And now let's hear your negativity or your fears at least.
I mean the obvious one is the injuries. Maybe after we all say something, we go through like an injury that we all think would be like the most damaging or whatever. I did have another thought though. I think if I'm not going to say injuries, it would be we've spent a lot of the season so far on the road, and sometimes you can kind of create a little bit of a siege mentality with it's been tough. We've had all these road games and whatnot. Now we're going to come back home. I don't know stylistically if we actually might benefit from being on the road a little bit. So it's going to be, how does the team react and change to, what do we have, 7 out of our next 8 games or something like that is all at home. You would expect results to get better. We tend to play better at home, but something that might scare me would be, do we get better at home? Does our style actually maybe suit being on the road a little better if we're expected to have the ball a little more at home? That's not really been how we've played. We haven't been like, as we talked about earlier with Noah, we're not like a possession-based, pass the ball around and score. We've been a little bit direct, and that tends to work a little better on the road, just typically in soccer. So curious to see kind of how we react. And then also, like I said, there's that kind of siege mentality of it of like, oh, it's tough on us. We have to really come together and win these away games. Now that we're at home and a little more comfortable, do we still kind of have maybe a little bit of that bite or a little bit of that effort to kind of go hard and keep winning games? So it's something I would go with.
Yeah, I like it. I don't necessarily think it's all doom and gloom. And we've heard, and I don't think it's just lip service from the players and from the coaching staff and from the manager that the crowd makes a difference, and that Orange County is relatively a difficult place to play. And we don't have any sort of elevation. We don't have, I can't even help myself. We don't play at elevation, so that doesn't scare people. We don't play where it's egregiously hot, where people should not be living, let alone trying to play professional sports. There's nothing super, we don't play on a baseball field, so we don't have anything super weird going for us, but we do have a, especially when you compare it to 10 years ago, boisterous, lively, wonderful
U.S. men's national team quality pitch.
Yeah. Hey, how about that? And let's be honest, they haven't been using it for a hot minute. Heyo. Sorry, Matt. I just watched your smile die as I said that, but they've already done training there before they got knocked out, so it's technically the truth. In all seriousness, we have a wonderful atmosphere at these matches. That's down to the listeners. That's down to the casuals that don't know the show exists but probably should.
It's all you, Don.
Yeah. That's definitely it. So I mean that gives me a little bit of optimism, maybe to counter your worry there. But Brad, you posed the question. You brought me back on topic. What worries you?
Yeah, so I was prepping for this question this week, and one of the things that has always been in the front of my mind this season is Orange County is known for conceding late in games and taking, defeat or draw from the jaws of victory. And doing my research, it's been a hot minute since we've had a moment like that. Since mid-May was our last goal that we allowed past, other than our most recent matchup versus Hartford. But when you do take that game and then look, I think it's not even May 16th. It's May 2nd versus Sacramento, the last real end game breakdown that we've had. And Dylan, I see your face and know the pain that you feel. But
Your
Orange
turn.
County has Colorado Springs the week after we had a collapse. And it's good not collapsing late in games. Obviously, Hartford aside, it's been a great streak, but that's always been in the front of my mind is just that mental fortitude. And you don't win championships like we did in 2021 with a weak mental. So just hoping that the team stays conditioned. We're not going to be leaving town for the next couple months at this point. Our next game outside of California is mid-September. So taking advantage of being at home, being close to home over the next couple months is going to be huge. Keep that mental up, continue being the top team in the West and maybe make another run at a title.
Maybe. It feels crazy. We are probably 4 months almost to the day away. I haven't actually looked up when the final is, but it's usually Thanksgiving weekend. And I think Thanksgiving is about 4 months from this week.
And
Yes, Brad.
I just want to highlight McCheeky said pretty much exactly what I said, but better. So if you can go ahead, if we keep our mental and we don't slip, the team's going to be making a run in the playoffs. But lose a couple results because you allow a couple late game collapses and boom, there's some concern. You start slipping and you have a team that's had a pretty good season slip in the playoffs.
Yeah. Conceding goals late and then kind of dropping points and dropping positions late. Plenty of listeners getting in touch here, and thank you for being here tonight. It probably all boils down to Matt's fear. Are we suited better to playing on the road than we are at home? And does the style definitively work over a full season? We'll find out. I think it does. I think it'll be really, really good come playoff time, but well, we got about 14 matches before we're set in stone there. So we'll see what's to come. All right. That might be enough, maybe might be enough soccer talk. I think we'll put it that way, or at least Orange County soccer talk. Brad, go ahead, my friend.
All right. So right before we go into random thoughts, and I reveal the story behind my porta potty or really outhouse story at the top of the show, producer Andy, can you bring up that little image that I had? So this week, we like talking about crests and explainers, and this week in USL News, but Oklahoma City, my new abode or where I live now, announced their crest design, and I wanted to take a moment and just kind of, commend but also condemn some choices that were made here. First of all, the colors are, according to their graphic designer, to represent, the sunset in Oklahoma. Being out here, actually, sunset's pretty good. These colors are pretty good. The 37, I think it is, or 39 pointed sun that is surrounding the OKC in the middle represents the tribes of Oklahoma. and the shield itself is an arrowhead shield. So, and then Jim Thorpe is represented in the little zigzaggy design as well. So I'm going to give a lot of commending to the team for really incorporating the native tribes of Oklahoma and just that into the design of the crest. But then I got to turn around and condemn for at the bottom. What does it say? It says OKC United. It's just a little bit more of the continuation of American soccer trying to be European soccer when I think branding matters so much in American soccer. OKC United is the same thing as New Mexico United, which is the same thing as Louisville City and all the other generic team names when their previous team here was OKC Energy. And I think Energy is just a fun name. We shouldn't be afraid to brand things here in America. What are your guys' thoughts?
Matt, take it away.
I'm very 50-50 on this one. I asked me 5-10 years ago, I would have said I hate what you just said. I think it's tacky and so dumb that the New York Cosmos, shit like that, just always drove me crazy. It's like, just keep it simple. But as time has gone on, I've maybe developed a little more nostalgia or love, whatever you want to call it, for the uniqueness of it. So I don't know. I kind of sit in the middle. I get what you're saying with like United and City and whatever, but also those aren't just words that they use for no reason in places like Manchester and Leeds and whatever. It's the word does mean something. It's not just a random word. I United doesn't bother me as much as maybe City does, or like even when we were becoming a thing, I was happy we used SC instead of FC, because everyone is something FC or something SC. So I was like a little more happy with Orange County Soccer Club rather than Football Club. Yeah, I don't know. My thoughts are scattered on this one. I don't really have strong opinions either way, or maybe I do, but I just have them on both sides. So they meet in the middle.
Before I let Dylan give his thoughts, I do want to counter you. Yes, Leicester City, Manchester City, the Uniteds of the UK, but they all have nicknames. The Gunners, the Cherries, the Bees. Branding matters, and in America, it matters that it's in the name. When in England and the soccer
Yeah,
teams,
but those are based on okay, you're right, but those are also based on like energy, right? Okay, so that's why I kind of again I'm 50-50 because okay, New York Cosmopolitans, it kind of made sense. Cosmopolitan City. Is OKC known for its energy?
Yeah, it's the Lightning, it's the Thunder. The Lightning was one of the final names, I believe, that people were talking about.
Yeah, because like a lot of those that you mentioned are fan made first. So like the Gunners is an interesting story because they started in like a factory or something like that, or it was like a guns cannon factory. Chelsea doesn't really have one, I guess, at the kind of the Lions, but doesn't really have their own. Tottenham Hotspurs. Yeah, I mean some of them, like you said, but it's not like a part of the name. That's more fan done, or that the team kind of takes over for branding. It's like the LA Galaxy, right? Get the out of here. Like, what does that even mean? Why? What? Like that? Those names to me are tacky and silly. Whereas, like you said, if there's a reason behind it or something with like historical or, then I can get behind it a lot more.
All right, Dylan, quick thoughts.
Earthquakes.
Yeah. I like you guys both happen to mention it, and I mean, you mentioned Manchester City. Their nickname's literally the Citizens, and it's misspelled no less to really force the pun. So by far the most egregious example of this, but I do like in the producer Andy and I have talked about this multiple times, but the homogenization of culture and society. Where every single thing that you're seeing from a branding standpoint is now flat, relatively monochromatic, or has kind of two colors to it. There's not a lot of depth in design anymore. It's very vague, and That's a shame. This is almost going away from it. I mean, yeah, I'm so excited to watch another team wear dark blue as their primary color. And guess what? They'll wear white or cream as their away shirt because it's going to be too hard to get pink, red, whatever that is supposed to be. I mean, it should be red, given literally the basis, the word Oklahoma, but whatever. It's okay. It doesn't really matter. I'm just glad that Oklahoma is getting a team again, and I cannot wait for Orange County to go there and sit through a handful of lightning storms, and we just have a match get delayed, and hopefully we're all in a bar watching together. Producer Andy.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that the team colors are officially, are you ready? Midnight blue, pink sunset, and ivory cloud. Ivory cloud, guys.
Great. I just would love to point out that Oklahoma, from the Choctaw, Okla meaning people and Huma meaning red.
If you think those are bad, go look at your average paint store and go read those colors. They're fun.
Yeah, honestly, fair enough. The one on my wall right now, not the one that you can see, but the one that it's going to be agreeable gray. Spot on. I was like, you know what?
Perfect.
That's agreeable. I'll throw that on the wall. Okay, we've certainly gone off. All right, Brad, can you just? What are you doing? Why are you getting paid in outhouses, man? What's going on?
Yeah,
I hope you didn't earn that money. I'll make the joke.
Random thoughts. So, I'm gonna keep it as simple as possible. I walked into it. There was a Instagram person who put money in a random spot every week, and this week they just so happened to be literally where I was. They put the money down, posted the story. 2 minutes later, I walked in, I see the cash, and I'm like, what the? And I didn't even know they put the cash there. I look up my phone, I look up cash drop OKC, because why is there a wad of money in the porta potty or in the outhouse? And lo and behold, they had put the money there literally 2 minutes prior. I walk out and I'm super confused. See the person filming underneath the stairwell, and I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. And today they posted the little summary of, me walking in, seeing it, and then all these little people, and then there's two kids that like ran up, and everyone being sad and dejected that they didn't get the money. So I stole from children in an outhouse.
I just pulled this up on Instagram, and it is, 3 minutes and 45 seconds after the cash is placed. You can watch Brad walk in, and Brad, my friend, you look confused.
Yes, I walked in, I saw the cash, I pull up my phone, I look up OKC cash drop, I turn around, I walk out, and she's standing right there, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Maybe this happens everywhere, and I just don't know, but that's like the most Midwest sounding shit I've ever heard.
Hey, bud, we're just good neighbors, all right? I just thought I'd leave him some money, and maybe we can go get a couple beers after. I don't know why Oklahomans suddenly are from Minnesota, but
you're a little north there, bud.
The only reason I even knew to look it up like that is because I knew Vegas had the same thing. Influencer dropping some money off and bringing attention to businesses. This was a tiny little town 20 minutes outside of Oklahoma City. But enough of that.
Here we are. Where do I finally stand on this? I don't know. I love a good Jim Thorpe reference. Brad, Matt, thank you for being here for our guest tonight. It's really wonderful. Thanks to Noah Telford from the MBFC Discussion Instagram page. Thanks to you, Producer Andy, and for those who were here live, wonderful. Thanks for participating. For those listening in the great beyond, thanks for being here. This has been the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, and we are out.